Yep.
Sergeant meeting. Okay, minutes to the March meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
You got her.
Financial financial report, register of claims.
Right. And get my papers sorted. Okay, so total Lake income year to date is 179,786 with 38 cents for March.
I'm sorry, what page are we on?
I thought it was soon.
It's 2.
Okay.
The way that Tiffany started doing the reporting pages is it pulls the months prior up to when she reconciles, so I have to add, subtract, and keep
Yeah.
separate months into year to date.
Okay.
So the month of March is not technically on there,
Okay.
but it was $36,475.92. On the register of claims, I didn't see anything until it was brought to my attention because I was giving Michael a hard time about his hours not being turned in.
So I'm still being stupid. Can we go back to the other number? Where's 30?
I don't see 36 either.
36 is not on there
For March, she said March isn't.
because the way Tiffany's doing the reports, it's January through the end of what month she reconciles now.
Okay.
So I just subtract my last month's
Okay.
numbers from the month she gives me to get that total.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
If you guys want or need that to be on there, I'm more than happy to ask her, but it is on page 5 with my
There we
number 1.
Okay, we'll get there. There we go. Okay. That's
That's just where I was pulling my number from.
super. Thank you.
All right, got you.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Continue.
Perfect. Thank you. Sorry for the confusion on that. For Deer County on the register of claims, it says January and February. I'm not sure if we joked about if she was busy with tax season, forgot to pay herself one of those months, or with it being January and February, the liens may be added in there as well. There's a few refunds just when title companies reach out to me about sewer assessments and what's due from the seller. I give them what's on their account until the time of closing. So there was quite a few refunds from people or refunds given to people who had paid certain amounts before closing on their accounts, due dates. Any questions? Comments, concerns?
Nope. Good job.
Motion approved.
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Administrative and financial.
Okay, I was contacted by Derek Doty Tuesday, I think, and he was inquiring about potentially purchasing 246 Lincoln Hill. I joked with him because him and his girlfriend or wife are trying to monopolize that whole cul-de-sac because they own 244 and 245. So I was like, well, that'd be pretty perfect.
Yeah.
Have
Perfect.
lots right there.
Yeah, good deal.
So I told him that I would bring it up to the board today and let him know.
Motion to accept the motion to purchase, sell Lincoln Hills 246.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Perfect, thank you.
What are we gonna rename that road? What's the last name?
Jody Anderson Lane, I think. All right, so then my report. We had 6 connections since our last meeting, bringing our total to 1,768. The due date for the February and March bills was yesterday. Auto draft payments drafted was $44,998.77. Late fees were added this morning. And then for 3, this is kind of a interesting situation. I've dealt with this guy for a couple weeks now. So they purchased the property last year, I believe, and they're not living there. So apparently they weren't getting their bills. I guess there's not even a mailbox on the property. So where the bills were going, I'm not sure. But one of the girls in the office in February looked up 278 Patriots Landing on GIS and found their current address, I guess, and sent them a bill. Unfortunately, the bill they received was for a lien account. So that is what brought up this whole situation. When I first spoke to him, he was very angry because he wasn't receiving the bills. He didn't know that he had to pay for it because he knew the property was on a well. Didn't know that he had to, I guess, pay the bill because it's not, to his understanding, it wasn't hooked up. I guess there's no toilets in there, out of sight, out of mind. So I got with the title company and I asked, when they go to closing, is there anything in your paperwork that states they need to contact us to set up accounts? And she said that it was a for sale by owner. And normally the listing agent is the one that informs the buyers of it.
Oh, okay.
So when I called him back and spoke to him, he was a little bit more understanding about how that, or we, I guess, fell through the cracks. But he wanted me to ask if there was he said he's fine with paying the $400, or I can't remember the exact amount it is, the past due billings. His problem is he doesn't want to pay the $55 lien processing fee or the late fees. I told him that I would bring the situation up today. I told him, honestly, I've never had something like this come up. I don't know how they'll perceive it, how they'll react. So I basically just told him, like, don't get your hopes up that something in your favor is going to happen.
I don't think that it was an intentional thing.
I don't.
Obviously, it was just a matter of ignorance as to what he was even required to do, because again, it was a private sale essentially, out of an agent that typically would manage that part of it. So, I mean, I could see if it was intentionally being just ignored, but it just seems like.
Getting started, and,
it's-
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Are there actual costs with filing a lien?
There's a $55 processing fee.
Yeah.
Because we have to pay that to
Yeah.
the courthouse to have the liens processed.
So I think we,
Is there a house on the lot?
Yes.
I'm confused how he wouldn't think he doesn't have a sewer or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's gotta be a bathroom in there.
I would think.
I guess he told me that at one point in our conversation, because again, I've spoken to him a few times. I guess there's no toilets in the home.
How can that?
Unless,
Whenever you're hooked, as soon as you hook to the
Is it a
sewer, your
garage?
bill starts, no matter what you got inside.
and that's,
You hook to the sewer, your
Right.
bill
and
starts.
that's what I told him. But with him not being
Yeah.
told that information,
Yeah.
and he also knew that the property is on a well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it could have caused,
And
The guy that sold him the property should have given him more information.
Right.
exactly.
And he should have been curious too. I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
take much looking around to go, hey, here's who the utilities are out here.
Yeah.
You can do the BOA side.
Like, what's the,
Yeah.
utility cost, what's the electric, you know, whatever.
Even if there's no lights in the house.
That being said, I think we have to charge him the lien fee since that's the actual cost to us. And then I'm okay with forgiving the late fees. That's my feeling on it.
It's a compromise.
I mean, not perfect, but I just, yeah, well, that's another issue, but.
How much would the late fees be?
I think the late, because there was, I want to say it's like $28 because there was 4 or 5 billing cycles that were missed. So I think it's around 28.
What are you gonna say? What are you thinking, Wayne?
Well, I'm thinking beyond this. How in the world could you ever get a certificate of occupancy?
Without a
No
bathroom.
bathrooms in the
That's what I
house.
thought too.
Yeah,
Like,
that
how
doesn't
can you
make
sell
any
a house
sense.
without a bathroom?
What?
Gotta be codes, there's gotta be inspections, there's gotta be all that stuff that would.
Yeah.
So,
And, you know,
is this a log cabin? What
the,
is
Right, exactly.
the certificate of occupancy includes all those inspections and
Yeah,
they do a physical inspection of the house that you got bathrooms, you got,
up to code, all that stuff. Yeah.
because I mean, you can't give a certificate of occupancy to a house that somebody's gonna live in that doesn't have bathrooms in it.
Yeah.
But they don't live there is the thing.
It doesn't make any difference.
Still,
The
Yeah.
house has to be livable
It has to be
Correct.
habitable.
to get a certificate of occupancy, whether everybody lives there or not.
Right, okay.
Did the previous owner pay the bills? And did he live there?
I guess.
There's gotta be a bathroom.
Yeah, so.
And he may have just
Of course,
told me that, because
Yeah,
I,
like I don't need a sewer, so.
we don't have anything to do with the certificate of occupancy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I said, when he asked me what I thought, I said, I'm thinking past
yeah,
this.
yeah.
I'm thinking,
AE or POA?
how did we ever get to this
Well, that-
situation? Not how do we solve it?
right.
Oh, the county gives it to him, okay.
And then another piece of the puzzle that irritated him, which I guess I could understand, is when a lien is processed on a property, we close out that account and open a new one. So it starts as a $0 balance. The new account that was created was billing to, again, Patriots Landing. So where the old account was updated, the billing address, his new account was not. And so I talked to Tiffany and Heather and asked, like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
And Tiffany started to question if it would bring a liability issue if we took it upon ourselves to go into GIS and look this information up for property. And that's going to,
I think it's above and beyond, but
And that's
I don't
what-
think it's a liability issue. I mean, I don't.
It's public records,
Yeah,
right?
public
So,
records. I don't think it's, I mean, if we can do it, great. If we can connect the dots, great. But it's not our responsibility to connect the dots. I mean, it still ultimately should be the property owner's responsibility to pay their bills.
and that was what Tiffany had said too. And that's when I spoke to him next, I told him, like, this isn't something that we do. It's out of our scope to go and try and find this information.
Yeah.
And so he was a little bit more, again, understanding about, like, yeah, I get it. Maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But
Yeah. Okay. I motion we go ahead and forgive the late fees, but not the lien, since it was actual cost to us. So,
a second.
You're still saying he ought to pay the processing fee.
yeah, yeah. The other one is
That's something out of our pocket.
right.
The late fees should be in our pocket, but they're not taking them out.
So if
Yeah.
he wants to try to make that part of it, right, maybe he goes to the seller and been like, hey, you didn't give me all the information I needed and it cost me this amount of money, maybe he could try to recoup it from them or something. But yeah, you're right, we had to pay the fee, so we shouldn't have had to chase it down like that.
Yeah, because you know, when you buy a house out here, then the POA, you know, make sure that they understand that there's lot fees,
Yeah, they didn't check in with the POA or
et
anything.
cetera, that,
well, he knew about the POA because he said he was at the last meeting or something.
Okay.
Oh.
something,
Because they're really good with new owners
So
coming
I'm wondering if he hadn't paid his lot assessment too, if he was a POA. I wasn't at the last POA meeting.
I was.
When they buy their complaint.
No, I mean,
Not about that.
not about that.
Other things, huh?
Actually, pretty good meeting.
It was a pretty good
There
meeting.
wasn't
There were a couple
much-
of absentees, so.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the motion.
That's the motion.
Yeah,
Second,
second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
thank you guys.
Thanks, Tiff.
So because of this issue on my sewer assessment letters, I have added a couple lines that are asking for a buyer's bill to address and a phone number for the title company to have filled out when they send us a check. So
Good.
a little bit more proactive
Yeah.
instead of coming
Try
up
to
the
get
rear
information.
and having to have these conversations.
Yeah.
Notes from Tiffany Marcia Bemis. There was a payment dispute we received this week. I guess she's disputing it with her card company. We sent or Heather sent a screenshot of her account saying that the payment was there and applied, and so they ruled it in our favor as of now, but Payment Service Network was sending those documents to her card issuer to deal with on their side. I don't know if she just maybe made a payment and forgot about it.
Okay, maybe she just didn't recognize the payment services or payment.net name
It-
and just,
Yeah, could have been.
yeah. My mom was kind of starting showing signs of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have issues like that.
You know, I know I do. For the lien payments, they are now accepting the payments at Deere Accounting, and homeowners do not have to wait the spring or fall tax settlement for the lien to be released. It's unknown at this time why Kathy chose to not release liens more than twice a year. My guess is because she was the only one.
Yeah.
She,
Just processing them, it's like, put these there.
Yeah.
yeah, she was the only one doing everything, let alone the lien process. I mean, why add something that you don't have to onto her already very full plate?
Yeah.
She said that we have a notary in-house and business hours, so there isn't any reason to not do that.
Cool.
So hopefully more liens will be released more frequent than twice a year.
Good.
But that's all that I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, operation manager.
Hey, it's been a very quiet month. The disinfectant season starts April 1st through October 31st. We were having trouble with one of the modules. We have 4 modules and one of them was faulting out intermittently. And Michael and Scott did some troubleshooting on some other things and narrowed it down to where it may be this ribbon. So this ribbon, you got to pull the whole length of tubes out and it plugs in several places along the bar. And it goes to circuit boards and, you know, it's very intricate. So replace that as a cheaper option and it worked fine for 2 weeks and then it failed again. So I could run on 3 racks of bulbs, so I just got to turn up the intensity of the bulbs. But the next step, I guess, it may be a circuit board on that module. Scott's been real busy the last 4 or 5 days planting. The farmer also sets it dry out, you know. So I just wanted to put that out to you. We still have an issue with the UV. Don Allen's also been doing a great job keeping up with the mowing. And then he said those extra wide tires we put on the Exmark last year hold the slope of the dam really well, and they don't cut ruts from taking the same track every time. You know, they're so wide, about like that. So
Like a double.
yeah, they're really wide. Yeah, I just want to mention that because I don't know if I ever talk about Don, but he's doing a good job. I usually just write down what breaks. So try to be more positive.
Yeah.
The last month, we had a whole list of alarms from that storm and everything, so BBC Pumps notified us that one of our spare hydromatic pumps for lift station J4 has come in. Scott was going to pick that up, and while he was picking up other parts in town in Indianapolis, but I don't know if he got that done yet or not. It may be still there, but we had it on hand, and that's the one that was around $10,000. So you may see a bill on that.
We got an invoice, I want to say last night or this morning for the $18,000 one.
Oh, that's the other one.
But I don't remember seeing anything for this one. Not that it hasn't.
Okay.
Any bills or invoices I send to Heather and she cuts the checks.
Okay. Well, that's all I have.
Okay.
I've got a quick little update for you. We talked about the Rainbow Bridge and we've since purchased, some of the stuff we're gonna need. We got the paint and staining and all that stuff. We're targeting April 24th through May 3rd, that chunk of time to hopefully get power washing and staining and painting all done. So I don't know, obviously weather dependent, but we should have the stuff we need and be ready to go around somewhere in that next group of days. There's also, I looked over there and one of the posts is
Yeah.
rotten.
I saw that too.
So I was able to get like, I don't know, maybe a 4-foot 4x6 that I should be able to join with going down far enough on that post where the rotting has stopped. Should be able to join that together. If not, I don't know, replacing this would be a little bit more of a trick. And there's also a couple, 2x10, there's, I think, 6 2x10s. And then it goes down to like 2x6s on the railing parts.
The
So
side.
we're gonna even those out and just make them all 2x10s, the whole length of it. So I'll replace some of those boards too. But I don't know if you guys need any information on that stuff, but I've got the board, like I said, the 4x6 to hopefully just be able to join that with. When you get, hopefully, the good part of that rotted one is up
Yeah.
high enough where I can either use carriage bolts or, just cut like a L shape and
Yeah.
join them together, or I could drive, I've got like long spikes. I could drive in one of them and use them kind of like dowels.
Yeah.
Mark pilot holes in the other one and just join them together like that, put some good adhesive on there and actually hold it together.
Yeah.
Because I noticed
Just
the
depends how far
safety,
down.
that one rail is real loose.
Yeah,
Just
because it's into the
in
rotting.
the rotted part.
Yeah, so hopefully the rails will do that.
So,
That on it too. So that's what we're looking at. Nothing for you guys to do, but just be aware. And if it happens to fall upon a time where you guys are busy and you can't get the water access down there for us at the time.
well, Mike,
we'll confirm with you.
I read all the emails and Mike, got that.
Yeah, he's got it
tank
all ready to
set
go
up,
for
ready to
whenever.
go.
Yeah.
He can just pull it down there and leave it.
Yeah,
for
so
you.
we'll give you guys a couple days notice when it looks like we've got the good weather and people are ready to get down there and do it. You
Yeah.
guys posted.
I went and looked at it because Don was down across the creek. There's a great big sycamore tree where the bank's washing out and the roots are exposed and stuff. And he gets excited when he's afraid the trees are going to fall down nowadays. So I went and looked at it and I think it'll still stand for several more years. I mean, it's huge though. It is a
Yeah.
huge tree. It's not like the one you just knock over in the other field,
Yeah.
take care of. It's big.
Yeah.
I
So-
love giant old big sycamores. They're my favorites.
There's a little one right
Well,
beside
that's-
it.
yeah,
It's
Yeah,
even
yeah.
more. And if it falls, I don't think it'll hit the bridge. I think it'll hit the grass place. He mows past the bridge. It's leaning that direction. So I don't plan on doing anything about the trees
Okay.
unless you all want to. Bring it up.
Unless they're causing a danger or imminent threat.
I don't really think so. We had some before that fell across the creek and he's afraid we had floods. It would block up and then would take different directions and stuff. And I had Josh with Corporate McCall with a big excavator go down the creek,
Mm.
pick it up, cut it, move it to the side. That was a year ago or more, and then he cleaned up some gravel down there where we could cross the creek to get to our field that gets washed out sometimes, which we don't put sludge over there anymore because of the way we do it with the drag line. But we We used to haul over there and knife it in with a tanker truck. But the farmer still gets in and out there, that does our field and stuff. So
And on any of those trees down there, we might, wanna maybe contact POA, because the trees they cut on POA property, they're selling wood over here.
Mm.
They might
Yeah.
take those trees for that.
Well, sycamore don't
Pardon?
burn
I don't think they
very
just-
hard.
No.
No.
Yeah, they don't.
Whatever we got, we're gonna-
Yeah,
It's a nice hardwood forest down there. You have some nice, beautiful, walnut trees and stuff, old growth. It's
Yeah.
nice, but
Yeah.
it's a pretty place to walk. I've been down there a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of times, like walk.
Well, they're often.
I love it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a great place to take.
Speaking of, I noticed that like on the new, pumping place, we had the curbs back there so that stopped the truck, and now the gravel's up even with the curb. I mean, you guys have to work with it.
It just probably works its way up.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's for is stopping when and we'll be doing that soon. As soon as it dries out, we'll be hauling it. And I think I told you guys, I talked to the new owner of the Raw Ball property.
Yeah,
That I was always hoping to get to add, so we
Yeah.
can use our field over there. And he wasn't
he was.
doing it in favor of doing it all, so that's all. That's completely out of the question. So we're unless we get a 4,000 gallon tank again with a tractor that can knife it in, our 7 acres down there, we won't be putting any sludge on. Unless there's enough, that's the only other way to do it, to get it down there.
Yeah,
The drag line system, hauling it to his Greasonsville has got 25 acres, and we got to get the 3 trucks from Baker Septic.
Yeah.
To keep that thing moving, because they're sitting in there, and then they pump to a big pump, and they pump it through a 1.5 mile hose to
Yeah.
knife it in. So that's our process we use now, so.
yeah,
And they actually, Stevenson's that do that with it. They do millions of gallons for these hog farms and dairy farms and whatever, big operations. You know, we're so tiny.
Yeah.
He just works us in favor to me.
yeah.
So we'll continue doing as we can do it. It's not even really profitable for them to do it, but someday we may have to look at, that in the round system where we dry the sludge or
Yeah.
something else. But
Yep.
just
Okay.
bringing you up to, so it's kind of in your back of your minds. If that happens in the future, I'll bring it up. But hopefully, this is the cheapest way to do it. If we
Yeah.
just keep hauling liquid, get it knifed in.
And they don't rent that in around anymore, do they? You said they don't offer the rental of that. Yeah,
Oh, that that tank, I mean,
yeah,
separate
the
tank.
round, in the round thing, you said they don't rent.
Oh, yeah, they don't do that anymore. Yeah, I called the owner. He sells them, but he don't really want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doug.
Any- No forms. So anybody have any questions? Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Christine, would you